been missing, presumed dead for 5.5 years.
So I'm here, of course, with Melissa Roxburgh and Josh Dallas, who are the stars of the new show Manifest, which is coming to NBC and City TV this fall. Guys, thank you very much for taking the time to do this. I'm looking forward to seeing the show. I saw the first 10 minutes. That's all I've seen so far. So I'm only that level of the mystery.
What do you think?
You know, yeah, there's a lot going on there. So I speaking with Jeff, you know, and he's saying like there's more coming in that episode, which I expected. So with you guys though, when you came to this project, you know, obviously like you've worked yourself, Melissa, you've worked on you know, some sci-fi and genre entertainment, and Josh, you just came off of Once Upon a Time and everything. So like when you're coming into a show like this, what were your thoughts? Like why picking a role like this for each of you?
For me, I mean, it was the whole idea of that you could have a second chance, and the choices that you make determine your character, and the idea that you could come back and reevaluate where you had been and try to make things right was appealing to me. And the character of Ben Stone was very different from the last character I played. You know, he's a mathematician, he's a great family man, but he has these faults that can make him become very alienating of the rest of his family. And he was just a man that I found very intriguing, and he's definitely a lot smarter than I am, and I found that intriguing. And to get inside his head, you know, he's a man, he's a mathematician, he's a man of science, and he believes very much, in fact, is higher than faith. And that is something that in my real life I don't, you know, I'm very, very spiritual, and so to get inside a head like that was interesting to me.
When I first read the pilot, I thought the premise itself was very, very interesting. I hadn't seen something like that before, a plane that goes missing. I mean, that was cool for me. And then at the same time, kind of what Josh was saying, the characters that Jeff wrote were very complex, and Michaela, for me, was special because I've gone not the plane going missing or any of that stuff, but I have a lot of similarities to her, and it was really nice to see this ballsy character who is intensely flawed, who had made a lot of mistakes, but was still trying. And I was really curious to see where that went, and yeah, that's what intrigued me.
When you're doing the show, a show like this, you've got so much going on, and then of course, as a mystery type show, right, you don't want to ruin anything, but can you explain the show, and as much as you can, what you can reveal so far, at least?
Yeah, I can. You know, the big reveal happens about 5 minutes into the first episode, so I'm comfortable revealing it. So the show's about a family that is torn apart by an accident of a bad decision in an airport. Not an accident, right. but a bad decision when you know, you can get bumped sometimes off of a flight. So half a family chooses to get bumped for two different reasons. We have two adult siblings. One is kind of into it with his wife about a serious situation. One's into it with her mom about a serious situation, and they each decide to get bumped off the flight. So half the family flies ahead. This is at the end of family vacation. Right. Half the family takes the next flight. Well, that next flight disappears off the radar and is gone for 5.5 years. And 5.5 years later, 5 minutes into that first episode, they land fine, unharmed. For them, it's just been a 4-hour flight, only to discover that the rest of the world has moved on and assumed that they were dead and gone.
And no time has passed for us. You know, it was just a normal, it was a flight with, you know, some heavy turbulence, but it was, you know, it was, for all intents and purposes, a normal flight, and we land, and the world that we thought we knew is completely different in every way possible. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to deal with. You know, these are just normal people going through something extraordinary, and they're going to try to find their way out of it.
Science versus faith is probably the oldest debate in human history, and something that I think we all think about, talk about, have an opinion about, and it makes all of us a little bit uneasy because you know, you're often in the room with somebody who's on the other side of that debate. Right. So I thought it would be cool and interesting and provocative if our two protagonists at the center of the show, brother and sister, Michaela and Ben, we're on either sides of that debate. And so that's one of the fundamental questions of series. What happened to this plane? And in addition, things start happening to our passengers.
Right.
You'll discover that about 15 minutes into the first episode, and but unusual, inexplicable things, and the plane's disappearance and return, the things that are happening to these people, all of it is fodder for that conversation, faith versus science, and we will have reason for each side to believe that you know, that they're onto something in terms of what really happened here as we move forward in the early episodes. But it'll be really a series-long conversation.
Can you guys talk about what's like behind the set? You know, like when you're on the set and you guys are just interacting with each other, you guys having like fun? You know, is it like something to alleviate some of the pressure of it?
You know what? Let me tell you something about Melissa Roxburgh here. She is a
He's about to tell you the biggest lie.
A prankster. So she likes to prank a little bit. And one day, I was going into my dressing room, and somehow, I don't know how she did it, she's like David Copperfield, she taped my door shut from the inside and somehow got out. So when I went to open the door, it was completely taped, but from the inside.
He has yet to get me back properly.
No,
Just
I mean, because
saying.
you're like a magician. It's like, how did you get out? I need to know the answer to this. How did you get out?
Find out at the end of the season.
There you go.
Hey guys, I'm Melissa Roxburgh.
And I'm Josh Dallas, and we're from NBC
And City TV's.
Manifest.
And we just want to say, if you're going to geek out,
Geek Hard.